Are you planning to refinance your home when interest rates come down? Before you do anything, consider this.
Hi, I'm Michael.
And I'm Joy.
Refinancing our mortgage always sounded like a great idea to us, especially since it promised to lower our monthly payments.
Then we started looking at the numbers.
As you know, mortgages work on a schedule of amortization. That's just a fancy word to say that in the beginning, most of our payments go straight to interest. And the amount of interest is astronomical. Did you know that with a 6% interest rate, a shocking 83% of those early payments are just covering interest? But even at 3%, people were paying nearly 59% to interest. At 9%, over 93% went to the lender.
How can that even be legal?
Right. So, when we refinanced after a couple of years in a quest for lower payments, we basically hit the reset button on our interest. We were right back to square one, with all that interest front-loaded on our new loan.
But wait, why did our payments go down?
Glad you asked? They went down because when we did it, fewer dollars went toward the principal. In other words, less was going to pay down the house. This of course dragged out the whole thing even longer.
And what about closing costs? Remember how when we refinanced, we paid thousands of dollars every time? Sometimes they wrapped it into the loan, but then our loan was higher again.
True, and here's the thing we didn't consider. Every time we refinanced, we put off owning our home for a full 30 years. Again, it was like chasing a carrot on a stick. The finish line kept moving farther away. Only it wasn't a carrot, it was our home.
Tell them about the break-even time, Michael.
Oh right. We didn't realize that even when we had a 4% APR, it would have taken a whopping 23 years on that 30-year mortgage before we finally had paid ourselves in principal what we had already paid the lender in interest.
Assuming we had kept that original mortgage for 23 years without refinancing.
Here's the point. Regular refinancing repeatedly pushes the date of home ownership out indefinitely.
So what's the answer? How about paying off that mortgage in single-digit years? When you clear your home loan that quickly, the interest rate loses its power.
Yeah, it's not the 3 to 9% that kills you.
It's the decades of paying on the same money over and over.
So let me ask this. What if you were offered to refinance with a 4%, 30-year amortized loan? Or accept double that interest at 8%, knowing you could pay it off in 8 years without cramping your lifestyle? Which would you choose?
I think I know what most people would say.
The person who refinanced at 4% would not only be paying on the home for 22 more years, but would also pay 92% more interest. Did you hear that? 92% more paid in interest even at half the annual percentage rate just because they paid on that same money year after year for decades.
And what would happen if we took all the years we cut off the mortgage and paid that same amount to ourselves instead of some big company? What could that look like?
That's right. That's what made the difference in our decision. And these are just a few logical and mathematical reasons to think twice before refinancing.
As for the more meaningful reasons, well, that's up to you. It depends on what kind of life you want to live.
We realize it's mind-blowing to consider paying off your home in a fraction of the time without sacrificing, locking up your funds or refinancing. But many people are doing it through a strategy called Fire My Mortgage.
You really should give them a call. Everyone who does is glad they did. Their number is 833-FIRE-MY-MORTGAGE.
Or if you prefer the local number, it's 402-590-2020.
This message was sponsored by
Fire My Mortgage.
Because life is better without one.